Your very first music theory lesson. Are you ready to learn music theory? This is an experiment, okay? This is an experiment. I'm going to see if I can teach you music theory while holding my camera in one hand. Can you hear my bass? Can you hear that? Listen to that. Let me turn up the volume a skosh. Alright. I know it's way too loud, but it's going to go down again. Oops. Ooh, yeah. Alright. We're going to call this note 1. And I'm going to teach you... Oh, in this, I'm playing the 4th note here. And I'm going to assume that you don't know any music theory whatsoever, except that you know music is a type of sound. You know that music is a type of sound, then you're ready for this video. I'm going to teach you music theory, okay? I'm going to teach you chords, sharps and flats, why there are 12 notes, the whole bit, okay? And I'm going to teach all of it around this one note, which is my 4th string here, and we're going to call this note 1. Why? Well, because if I teach you all of music theory based on note 1, you can pick up any stringed instrument, tuned to any note, D for example, and you're going to know, like, you know, like everything that I'm about to tell you right now is going to apply, you know. Wind instruments are a little different. But on any stringed instrument, we have a collection of notes that are naturally occurring, okay? And I'm going to call well, there's the open note, which we're calling note 1, and I'm going to call the other notes note 2, why not? Now I'm playing note 2. And there's also a note 3. So, if all the musicians died right now, and your job in the post-apocalyptic hellhole was to figure out music, you were the guy that was tasked with figuring out music and learning music and teaching it to everybody, and all you have is something like a cello, just an instrument with 1 string, and you need to invent music, what would you do? Well, I'm telling you, okay? Because music theory can be thought of as just taught in the order, I'm going to teach you music theory just in the order that you would discover this shit on your own, if you just had a string to play with, okay? And if you were stuck with an instrument, you would discover quickly on your own that there's a note 2 and a note 3, okay? This is a sound that should seem really familiar to anybody with ears. Oh, well, it might seem so familiar that you don't even realize this is special. But there are alternatives. I could have played something like... I could have played that. That's wrong, okay? Anyone with ears can tell that this... 1, 2, 3... Anyone with ears can hear that that's wrong. So, all of music theory is just based on what you can naturally hear anyway, but then try to explain it. So anyone can discover on their own that there's a note 1, 1, and there's a note 2, 2, note, and there's a note 3, 3, and there's a note. There it is, and there's a note 4. And these notes go by many names, but they are universal in all cultures, and as I attempted to demonstrate a couple of minutes ago, you know, there are alternatives. There are other notes that are possible, and anyone with ears can hear that these notes sound right and other notes do not. Perhaps I should have illustrated this with my fretless bass instead. We have a naturally occurring, the frets are placed where they are because this is where some of the intervals occur naturally anyway. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So these frets are placed where they are because that's where the intervals naturally occur anyway. And the reason why those intervals occur where they do is because the frequencies of the sound waves are in particular ratios. Okay, so from 1 to 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That is a ratio of approximately 8 to 9 hertz. It's not exact because it's really hard to get exact. But it's also not exact because a ratio of 9 to 10 sounds very similar. So from note 1 to note 2 is a naturally occurring ratio of frequencies. It's approximately 8 to 9, or 9 to 10, sort of. And from 2 to 3 is also a similar interval, but also from 1 to 3 has a particular sound. From 1 to 3, note 1, note 3. So from note 1 to note 3 is approximately a 4 to 5 ratio. That's why these notes sound right. And these naturally occurring intervals are the foundation of all music theory and all music with melody and harmony, meaning all music except for untuned percussion. So I'm teaching you the naturally occurring notes, and they should sound so familiar to you. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4. These are also known as do, re, mi, fa. You ever heard that one? And if you've ever seen a beginner violin, they have no frets, but they have tape on there, and you'll usually see the tape here. If this was a beginner violin with no frets, but they put the tape on there, this is where they put the tape. Here and here. So I have more frets on my bass than the naturally occurring note positions. That's my point with that one. Okay. The naturally occurring positions are here, here, and here. And here. Let's skip ahead. This one's really special. I forgot to talk about the octave. So this fret bisects the string. And from the open string to half a string is a very special relationship. Open. Open. This relationship is known as an octave. Octave, 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 octave. You can hear when an octave is sung right. Ah, 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 ah. You can hear when an octave is sung right. So that's your music theory lesson for today. And the octave. Lesson 1, the octave. If you take any note and you raise the frequency by double, you double it, as in by bisecting the string, you get a note which is an octave higher, and the note that is an octave higher has the same name. So if we call this note 1, then an octave higher is also note 1. That's also note 1. Alright, so that's your lesson for today. You should have learned what an octave is. Music Theory 1, take 1.